What's up, everyone? We're coming back to you from another day at the races. We're back for Brick Squad Day. Squad! It's 10/17. That means it's time for Waka Flocka Flame, Gucci Mane, and OJ the Juice Man talk for the next 2.5 hours. We're going to talk birthdays. We're going to talk about current plans. We're going to talk about 10/17 getting back together. Eventually going to have a concert live on Virtual Homework Podcast Radio. I'm here with my host,
Why
Dana.
Can't you
I'm
brief
Sam,
me
you
on
know
this
me.
kind of shit? We were talking about fucking
totally
we were talking
did.
about seltzer water, and then you're like Gucci Mane talk. What's going on with the Brick Squad?
I messaged you like a couple days ago. I'm like, oh, remember Brick Squad 10/17 podcast is on Brick Squad Day.
Is that
I expected you to be so down.
What the fuck is Brick Squad Day?
Well, 10/17 Brick Squad. What's the day today?
I thought that was just a
recording?
number. I didn't know that was a date.
Well, I don't know what it means. It's brick
Like
related
people are
probably,
like
but it's 10/17. Not 1738. That's Fetty Wap Day. I got that. Took me
38? That's not even a date.
1938 is the day we celebrate Fetty Wap's grandparents' birthday.
So what?
But no, want to know what else the day is today?
That?
It's theme song day.
What's good, man? It's your boy Juicy J, man. Shout out to Virtual Homework Podcast.
I remembered it that time. That's right. You
I
didn't
like
think
when
I
we
was
do
gonna
the theme song like 90% of the way through the episode sometimes.
You mean the one time we did it, like last episode? It was pretty dope. It got people excited for when the podcast was really starting.
Better
when
than
we started talking about castrating.
That's for sure.
Is it?
But yeah, in the, I guess, spirit of Halloween, October, I think what we kind of played is a little bit of a spooky game, or has spooky tones to it, or...
You gotta be fucking kidding me if you think we're gonna get into the game
Why not?
immediately. Because I got things to talk about.
My
I have
God.
follow-up questions every single time we play video games. The first thing I want to say is that we're moving on. I beat Earthbound. I played like another 75%
Oh no, I was
through the
just
game.
you could do your questions, but just my answer was probably going to be no.
All right, do you want to hear what I have to say about
Yes, I do.
Earthbound? What? I thought you were gonna at least like give a joke.
No,
You're weak. My co-host is weak-willed here, but yeah, I beat Earthbound. I know that you weren't super into it, or maybe not to say you weren't into it, but you definitely did not enjoy the game as much as you thought you would. So I, as a busy person with your 2 full-time MMO jobs, probably didn't go back and play Earthbound.
Did not,
but I went ahead and beaten it, or I went ahead and did beat it.
Was it better after
so
beating
now
it?
I've beaten Mother and Mother 2. I would say that the second half of the game did pick up a lot from the first. I think the way that the game worked is that it had a really good, or I shouldn't even say really good start. Once you got to own net, that was like probably the best part of the game, like the first world of the game. And then it kind of lulled for a while. But once you get like 5-ish sound stones, so like the way the progress I think is tracked is through these 8 sound stones you have to collect. I would say the second half of the game picked up and I enjoyed it. I think that it had a satisfying ending. I think that the final boss fight, not to spoil a lot of stuff, was one of the cooler boss fights, one of the creepier boss fights I've ever played. And I know it's actually notorious for being creepy, but even though I knew it was creepy going into it, I wasn't prepared for what it was. I will say, though, it's unacceptable for a game to take like 10 hours to take off. Like I understand like the second half was really good, and like I'm not going to say that was a bad time. I'm not going to change.
Other game says the same thing. There's like another game that has like a 40-hour tutorial before it like gets good or something like that.
There's like a lot of Xenoblade.
Yeah, I'm like
that.
90% sure it was like an RPG, like Final Fantasy like 13.
I mean, even
shit.
Death Stranding took a couple hours to get into it,
Yeah.
but like that's a couple hours. This is like half the game. I'm not going to change my like overall rating of the game based on that, but I was happy I beat it.
That's good.
I did think about something that you commented on our cave story episode though.
What's that?
The fact that like you said something, or really it's a combination of our cave story and Earthbound episodes. You mentioned on Earthbound how you were like so upset in the beginning of this game kept getting one-shotted by enemies. You're like, how could I play this game when everything is killing me in one hit? It's just not fun. And then I was like going back and thinking, this is coming from the mouth of the person who like accidentally played on the hard mode of Cave Story. He's like, it's the most satisfying experience when you actually get through a level.
I think it's completely different
even though
when you're comparing a platformer. That's really all there is to it. Because like an RPG is like you level up. There's like systems and stuff like that. Versus platform, you're jumping through perilous things and stuff like that. It's just different game mechanics, you know.
It's more skill based. I think the battle system is a little bit skill. I mean, we know that you suck from a skill perspective in Earthbound. God. We've established this. Yeah. You're just like not like all these Earthbound esports players, like they're making fun of you
on Twitter. Yeah. You know, I saw the thread. Don't worry.
Wanna know what game made me laugh?
What's that?
Titanic. A rift in time or something like that. Titanic, the Land Before Time.
Can I preface this first? So, like I said earlier, in the spirit of Halloween and like spooky month, October, whatever, I wanted to kind of a pick of a creepy game. When I was a kid. This is the game we played this week. It's Titanic, an adventure through time. This game scared the shit out of me. It came out in 1996. I used to watch
Scared the shit out of you?
When I was 6 years old, I used to watch my brother play it, and like I said, it scared the shit out of me. So I'm like, oh, this game's scary. So that's why I chose it.
That like it's that spooky.
That and
it's like mysterious.
Yeah, I think it's atmospheric at points. That and we were talking about Titanic pretty heavily, like for like 4 episodes or whatever for some random reason. So that's why I chose it.
Can I just say I know way too much about the fucking Titanic now, like from Nonary games and this game, and I think like one other. Like I don't know why I know so much Titanic. Like facts, I'm like, oh, this foyer, I recognize this from Nonary games. It's like I was
there's like the same statue,
upset.
Right?
Yeah, there's so many similarities, and I'm like I kind of know what's in the Titanic and where because I don't want to know this much about the Titanic. I'd rather my brain like have the solving world hunger compartment instead. No, I don't give a shit really. No, I give a shit about world hunger, but no, what I'm saying is I don't give a shit about
it all comes out
knowing about the Titanic. I just think it's really weird how much I know about the Titanic now.
But yeah,
maybe it wasn't so far-fetched. I remember we were like making fun of all the people in the Nonary games for like having all this Titanic knowledge. Little did I know.
So like
I know
my brother
too much.
Was obsessed with the Titanic when I was really young, so it's like I saw like Titanic movie, Titanic games, like all this shit. So it's like I have way too much prior knowledge to the ship and or the tragedy involved. But let's talk a little bit.
Titanic was in vogue in the 90s. It just everyone wanted to find that place to paint nude women. That was the only reason.
You've never even seen the movie, have you?
I have not seen the movie.
You should watch the movie.
But I saw the JonTron episode, which actually featured this game for like 5 minutes.
Which I feel like it didn't do it justice.
Well, no, he actually. So the JonTron had a video on Titanic-based games, and he's like, "Oh, the only one that really makes sense is like this one random mystery point-and-click adventure game from the '90s called Titanic Adventure Through the Land Before Time."
It's not the name of it. Titanic Adventure Out of Time. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about what the game is. It is a point-and-click adventure that came out in 1996 from Cyberflix Incorporated.
So to note, before the Titanic movie, this was the Titanic game before it was cool.
Correct, before the movie and stuff like that. Had decent reviews and it won some weekly rewards, and it actually came out before the movie, and then the movie came out, and then it actually drastically increased the sales of this game. It's basically a point-and-click adventure where you deal with a story of murder, espionage, spying, theft, and kind of just a little bit of sleuthing, you know?
Yeah, you're a Secret Service agent for the British Secret Service, whatever they're called, and you have to investigate a stolen painting on board, and mysterious things happen as you go through your adventure. There's actually quite a few weaving plot points. In fact, so many weaving plot points, I kind of lost track a lot of the time, and I thought I thought like there's like this one guy, he's your steward, whatever they call him, like the guy, he's kind of like the ship's butler, and he has this thing like, oh, what should I do next? He's the most useless person in the world.
He kind of gives you clues and stuff like that. He's like, oh, maybe you should go talk to this person, then you go talk to that person. There's a NPC in the game called the Purser, which I frequently had to go to because I kept forgetting like the rooms that people were in and stuff like that. First and foremost, you have like almost full free reign of the actual Titanic, like, and it's made in like 1-to-1 scale, so you have to like actually walk through it, which you can do like in quick moves and stuff like that. But
yeah, and I was actually surprised. I was very overwhelmed in the beginning, but by the time I stopped playing this game, like I had a pretty good idea where everything was on the ship. I think they did a good job really placing you in there, making everything like, yeah, as Dana said, you could go from place to place with teleportation by using the map, but like they kind of force you to explore the ship first, and because of that, I had a pretty good understanding of where to go. It felt a lot more fluid than I would expect. Like I was just going from place to place to place to place, and I knew where to go.
Isn't
and,
it
and it was nice.
How some of these games from like I said, this is 1996. Like how, like I want to say almost well made. Like games like this are made. Like the graphics, like the people are fully voiced. It's actually like video recorded acting. Like I think there's like almost 30 characters and they're all voiced, you know, like
this was like just around the time I think of like Night Trap and like Sega CD, all these games that had like basically real people in there but just a little bit crushed, and like they had like low frame rate animations for their face movements. I mentioned this game made me laugh. A lot of the people look like just fucking derpy because of their facial movements and like the way their hands move, because they obviously couldn't fit more than like 3 frames per second on some of these animations.
What's so funny how some of the characters, they exaggerate like what they are. It's like, oh, this guy's like a Serbian criminal, so he looks all like scary and stuff like that, or like this is like British royalty or something like that. So it's like they make him talk all like hip hip cheerio and whatnot.
Yeah, they have to exaggerate those features because the accents are the worst things I've ever heard. These voice actors are definitely not super experienced. They're probably just some like random developers like, hey, we need a voice. Yeah. We got a low budget.
I think it's somewhat charming. Let me ask though. I always ask this every episode. Did you have a little bit of a good time playing this game?
Oh no, I enjoyed the game. I would not say point and click adventures are like really my thing. Like you chose the Nonary games, which I really liked. This game is not in the same class as that.
No.
But for what it was, I definitely enjoyed it. Like I know I'm just poking fun, but it's one of those like, it's a very 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 like 90s PC game feel.
Yeah.
Like it's hard not to poke fun at it, I think it did a pretty good job about what it wanted to do.
Graphically, I don't even think it looks that bad, other than the fact that the Steam port of the game is very, very flawed and very bugged. You press...
I straight up don't think they should have released this on Steam. I think that like people are happy that the game is on PC, and that's great, but I don't know when this was released. Maybe it was released a couple years ago, or maybe it's new on Steam. I think you might have mentioned it's new on Steam. The modern system does not run most of these 90s titles well, and this is no exception. It's like straight up broken in points.
Yeah, I had to change my resolution to like 768 by like 480 just so it wasn't, like the size of a quarter. There's actually a really funny picture Sam sent me of his screen where it's like, a little card shaped box in the middle of his screen, which apparently he played for like over an hour like that.
Yeah, I did. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, when I booted up the game and it was like literally in 5% of my screen in the center? But I did some trial and error, and after about an hour of squinting at like a Game Boy size screen on my 27-inch monitor, I finally realized, I just have to make my resolution 800 by 600, which came in handy when you came to me asking, is there any way to not have to like squint at this game as I'm playing it? So that, coupled with the fact that I'm not sure if it was for you, I have a multiple display thing. So if I clicked on another display while I was playing the game, it would completely freeze the game and crash. So I was constantly saving to avoid that.
I did the same thing. It wouldn't crash for me. I would just click off and be able to click on. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, probably just whatever my configuration
this game is the Steam version is very bugged. Like it's in pretty good definition, but if you press right at any time, it turns into like super fuzzy, or if you move, it turns super fuzzy, which is not normal. That's like definitely a bug.
At least the game's playable. I know a lot of these 90s games they're like, oh, you like they did not understand that like their it's possible to have like 2 megabytes or more of like RAM.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you have one gigabyte of RAM. That's not enough because they're like, oh, 1 is less than 2, so this game's not going to run. At least this one runs.
Yeah, we didn't even
it
talk
runs
about
terribly.
like really what you do in it though. Like
Point and click adventure.
Well, so it's like the game starts off. It's called Adventure in Time. You're basically you just got like removed from your job, like you said, as a bureau agent of the British Secret Service, and you are obviously in Britain. And what happened is you get bombed by I guess supposedly the Germans, and that causes you to go back in time to do your mission again, which you had apparently failed, and which was what caused you to get removed from your position at the service. So you have another chance to, I guess, right the wrongs of the past and so on and so forth.
I did not make that connection. I also didn't beat the game. I'm not sure how far you got.
Oh, I beat it with the perfect ending.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got...
This game has 8 endings.
So I didn't realize that I did not get to a single ending. I don't know how many hours I played because I like played in this weird configuration to like sometimes audio cut off, so I didn't actually play within Steam. But I think I played probably like 3 or 4 hours. I think at where I was.
I literally sat and beat the game in one sitting. Like I played.
You're a better point and click gamer than me, but I
played for like 6 hours.
A certain German died in the electric bath, and I was like slightly farther than that. I think I actually am not that far in the game. I got caught up in like trying to explore everywhere.
Like 2/3 of the game.
Okay.
So yeah,
I will probably go ahead and beat this just because I've been doing a good job about beating the games.
Nice.
I mean, the thing is, this game, like, if you look on how long to beat, like, at least one of the endings is like it's 6 hours and it's 100% for, or it's like 11 hours to 100% the game. So it's really not that much of an effort.
No.
Which, I mean, like, it's a point and click adventure game. I'm not like saying it has to be super long, but
basically, you go from area to area and person to person, speaking to the different NPCs, and they'll tell you like their little problem, their issue, and stuff like that, and you can solve their issues, solve their little mysteries, but then as you go along, you realize, like, hey, some of these people aren't who they say they are. Meanwhile, you have your overarching mission you're trying to solve, and you realize how these people are interwoven with your mission, and so on and so forth. There's some really cool interactions and things you may miss if you're not paying attention. Like, there's certain items you're supposed to pick up in certain areas that if you pick it up directly, someone comes and kills you. But what you actually are supposed to do is, you hide it somewhere else, and then you come back, and they're like, oh, where is it? So blah, 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 and you come back for it later type thing, so on and so forth. So there's, like, really, really cool interaction and movement in this game. Like, I still think this game looks pretty good, so...
So I definitely played it safe, like, in terms of dialogue choices. Like, the dialogue choices, you could be like... There's like this fencing part, which it's like, oh, are you a good fencer? I'm like, yeah, because like he was told that I was a good fencer. I could have been like, no, I have no idea how to fence. Like I picked the safest option on all of them, but like I also made the safest choices, and I think it worked out well for me. Like things that I didn't have to do. There's like this section where you solve a puzzle and get like a necklace, and you have a fake one, and like you could either put the necklace back, or put the fake necklace in there, or like don't put anything in there. And I feel like putting the fake necklace in there, like the next dialogue is like, oh, it looks like nothing was stolen from my room. I'm fine with that, but please get out of my room.
Yeah.
Like it seems like choices are rewarded, and there are branching paths for this game.
Literally, and the prior choices like branch out even more and more and more. There's, like I said, there's 8 different endings, with a multitude of different ways you can do things, which I think is pretty cool and genius for such an old game. I think this is a very adventurous. What's the word I'm looking for? Ambitious game for its time.
I mean, it's not the biggest in scope, especially for 90s.
No.
It's not like Final Fantasy VII, but I think it's pretty obvious it was made by a small team.
Yeah.
And for a small team, it's pretty impressive. I don't think this game was like billed as the next AAA title. I don't even know the people who made it.
I think these were just some random guys who like made random 90s point and click games. So. Yeah,
I to go back on like the fencing, there were random things you could do. Like there's like this blackjack mode, there's a fencing mode.
Those were my biggest cons of the game are these little mini games. I think they were pretty terrible, like in general.
Yeah, I think that they were like for the most part unnecessary and like easily gameable, or just like they didn't lead anywhere. Like I don't know, maybe the blackjack did mean something, but like
it does.
I tried to. Oh, you're nodding that. Oh, it did mean something.
Yeah.
But like when I was playing it, it just like seemed like a really poorly implemented time waster. It's like, oh, the most basic blackjack game of all time.
If you win, you get things. So
I've been winning a lot and nothing's happening.
you get to win
so
the first one.
I win the first one.
Oh, well, then you said, if you want to do it again, you said no, and then you get other dialogue choices from other people in the room. Like doing certain things and certain orders unlock different dialogue choices and stuff like that. Like I said, like all the different missions from all the people are all interwoven. I make for a really cool story. Like I don't think it's like game changing or anything like that, but I was actually surprised to come back and enjoy this little atmospheric game. Like the music was like super creepy and atmospheric in some of the areas.
So I was listening to the music for a while, but it got a little repetitive. Like so each floor so maybe I actually ruined the experience because of this, but like for the first like hour or two I was listening to the music, but it seemed that it was just the same music. Like different floors have different music, but like if you just went to a floor, it was the creepy music from one floor. You go up a floor, creepy music from the next floor. I at a certain point turned it off and just listened to my own music. I don't think it really changed the atmosphere, at least for me, but I appreciated the option for them to let me do that. I think you think that was a bad choice, but I think that the music definitely fit the ambiance. It's just a little too 90s video game. Like loops weren't as long as like it's just not something I wanted to listen to for like
I definitely think
straight,
I have a little bit of bias and nostalgia goggles for a game like this, because like I said, I don't remember this game at all. I just remember being fucking scared. I remember like there's like those baths with like this creepy music. I used to be fucking terrified of that shit. So it's like
did you get scared this time?
There were some parts that like I'm like, I remember being scared in this room. I don't remember why, and it kind of gave me anxiety. But like,
well, I'm sorry for laughing at your anxiety, but I would not consider this a scary game at all.
No.
I mean, like scary if you realize that there's impending doom.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like the captain's like, oh, I lost my binoculars. It's dark at night and I can't see glaciers.
His binoculars?
I tried. I looked all over the top floor and I couldn't find them. I assume they were on like the top floor.
That was the one thing I remember from this game from the 90s. Like I didn't really know where to go for really anything else. I remembered where the binoculars were. Like partway through the game, like 75% of the way through it, they're on the in the middle of the ship, just on top, just chilling.
Well, I mean, I was looking in that poop deck all day. Straight up, I'm like a 5-year-old child. Like I'm like mini Dana playing this game. I'm like, oh shit, it's the poop deck. Let's get a party on the poop deck. I just love saying poop deck.
You notice how like so many games from the 90s, whether it's PlayStation, like all those games, these games are all voice acted. Like I feel like there was a period in like the 2000s where games just weren't voice acted.
Well, I like games where I could like kind of tune out and do my own thing. So I've actually been playing a lot of games that aren't voice acted. I play more games that are not voice acted than voice acted. So when I play a game that is voice acted, that is something special to me. Yeah. So maybe I'm not the best person to talk to about that, but yeah, I guess the voice acting was decent.
Yeah,
I'll go that far. It's just a story-driven game.
Yeah,
I like most story-driven game. I mean, I guess Cave Story that we played that and had no dialogue. But
that's just
also,
like.
Yeah, it's like playing Animal Crossing and being like, this voice acting is amazing.
Listen, some games have like amazing beeps. Like, have you ever played Golden Sun?
I haven't. I've heard very good things.
That is like the best like dialogue. You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't played Golden Sun. I'm sorry, I can't say that.
Well, meaning like, you know how like there's no like dialogue in games, so they just have like noises that like represent them talking.
I feel like there is a term for that I just don't know, but I think I get what you're saying. I mean, you could basically make them do that in the Titanic game when you accidentally spam click a door and then they say like the same thing like 35 times in a row.
Yeah, and it's just like
So sometimes the voices don't stop. Like if you don't hit a choice, it'll just repeat the same thing over and over again. Infinity. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I just wish the Steam client wasn't so fucking buggy. Like it's actually like astoundingly like instantly noticeably buggy. It's
astoundingly like. I feel like this was a lazy port just for fans who wanted to prey off nostalgia, or not prey off nostalgia, but wanted to relive nostalgia. Like literally you. The reason why you picked this game is like, oh shit, they have this on Steam. I'm so happy. Let's play this game. I feel like if I was Steam and I was Steam pre-Greenlight, this game would not be on Steam. Since Greenlight, like a lot of games have just like gotten on Steam that are like so low quality.
Yeah.
I don't even think they have Greenlight anymore. I think they actually got rid of the program.
What's a shame though is like I don't think this is a low quality game. It's just they're just what's the word I'm looking for? There's just glaring issues. So like you said, like
it's a lazy port.
Yeah. So
it's like there's certain ports like that for the Switch I know of good games, but like they're near unplayable. So like it turns a great game into a 0 out of 10 experience. I'm not saying that Steam wouldn't let this on if the port was good. I'm just saying if some human actually vetted this, they'd be like, this is gonna make people lose trust in the client.
Shit. That's why they have like Take a Shit Simulator on there and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, pretty much. So on like the spam clicking, like it was actually pretty useful in the fencing section where I just like spam clicked as hard as I could.
I just go left right with your thing while you're spamming and spamming, and he's like on God. And
then he got his ass kicked.
Yeah, I
stabbed him in the stomach with a knife.
Then he gives you his ring.
Yeah, the spoilers for all the people who are gonna play the Titanic video game.
I think the interwoven stories and like little missions and like things that you give to people are pretty cool. Do you want to know the ending? Do you give a fuck? Or are you gonna play it?
Don't tell me the ending. I'm gonna play it. But my guess is that the Titanic sinks and everyone dies.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Well, or not.
Or not. Oh my god. We'll
find out next week.
Want to know who I think should die? All those terrible people in crowds blocking my path. I try to click. They just stare at me, and they don't have any dialogue. They don't even come up to me. They don't give me the time of day.
The generic people that just make it so, look, there's other people than just like the 30 NPCs that you can talk to.
Yeah, the other 2,170 people. There's like 2,200 people on the Titanic, I guess. I know this now. But yeah,
this game you learn a little bit. Like a lot of the people and names and events that are discussed in the game actually really happened and were real people.
Like the guy who owned Macy's.
Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of stuff, who was on the ship, and you actually find his cufflink. So
all those generic NPCs that were wearing shitty clothing. For some reason, every single person that you talk to is like extremely extravagantly dressed, like pink suits.
That's because
massive feathers.
So that's because you are on first class. And those are all millionaires. Literally, the only people that got on the Titanic were millionaires, and then everyone else was kept below decks. Like normal people weren't really allowed, like in the smoking rooms or like in any of like the lounges where you spent a portion of the game.
If I was on the Titanic, I'd finesse my way in there. I'd be like, "Big shot in the making. Listen to my podcast," and they'd be like, "What, via Telegram?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." Yeah, but listen to the virtual Telegram podcast.
It's just like beep, 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 beep. Oh, that was funny. Like,
yeah, that was fun. All comedy podcasts were listed as comedy under Apple Podcast. I'm sorry.
Can we actually like export
misled.
this podcast into?
I could probably find something on Fiverr, just like that fucking commercial that we made. Just Telegram transcriber.
Just like export the entire thing to Morse code.
I could. All those people who only speak Morse code would probably be happy about that. Or I could just like post it on Telegram, the messaging client, which I use a lot. It's pretty dope. Podcast sponsored by Telegram and Poop Decks. I love some Poop Decks.
So if you're
all over.
So final thought: if you are a Titanic fan for whatever reason.
Titanic, apparently that's like people are really big Titanic fans. I guess.
think it's a cool event, like based on this and like the Nonary games. I think like the concept of everything that happened, everything that went wrong, like the thing with like the bad steel, like that's a real thing that like happened and stuff like that, like
yeah, just the optics of like I think the Titanic was super cool, man. It was really cool how those people sank into the frozen sea.
No, not cool. So I think it was an interesting event.
That's better. We're no longer canceled. We've been renewed for a second season.
I'm just like,
there we go.
Titanic, bro.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna bro out and talk about the Titanic with my bros. You're wearing shades indoors like a cool guy.
And the big dog Titanic shirt.
Dana McCool. Yeah, We're big fans of Big Dog. If we could get a Big Dog sponsorship, because we like I know that you guys all hate ads, but if we were reading about these cool ass Big Dog shirts, you wouldn't hate the ads. They'd be like, wow, he's wearing a shirt that says I farted and it smells bad, and there's like a picture of a dog with his arms crossed. You would love that.
They're like the most boomer shirts you have ever seen in your life, and it's all like a fat dog with sunglasses, and they're all fucking amazing or offensive or just the most obscene thing you've ever seen in your life. Not obscene, but like just boomer.
Yeah, it's like they're offensive, but like it's coming from a place that's not like they're not even trying to be offensive. It's just like they have like a dog, but it's like the few, the proud, the big dogs, and it's just like they're wearing like marine stuff. It's like I feel like that's insulting in some way, but
I can't put my finger on it.
You do your thing, big dog. You're just trying to make some boomer shirts.
No, but the Titanic one is really good. It's like the dog's head is an
one
iceberg.
Yeah, it's like nothing gets past the big dog, and there's a Titanic sinking on it. It's just like, oh my god.
And the dog's head is the iceberg.
Yeah, more national tragedies, please, on big dog shirts. Specifically, what's your favorite? Like what the fucking triangle place fire in New York where workers died and it led to a lot of worker safety regulations from the early 1900s. Let's get that on a big dog shirt. Do you think that? Don't worry about it. Let's move on. Do you think that like what's the age you have to be where you actually know what big dog is? Because I feel like anyone under the age of 20 right now has no idea what big dog shirts are, but at the same time,
I mean, I think it's just relic of like 2000s and stuff like that. It's like there are a lot of like influencers and stuff that you like follow online, whether it's like Mega 64 or Maddox or like just relics of like old internet.
And you think Big Dog is old internet, not just old person on internet? I feel like Big Dog is still relatively popular with the older crowd. It's just that like the emphasis on like Big Dog as a brand is just not there anymore, because you could get like these shirts that are like, I will fight for my country. I am a big dog. I'm a big dog. You get that at like a gas station. You just think of it as a gas station shirt more than anything.
But no, this is like literally an entire company based around gas station shirts.
Yeah, the thing is, I wish people knew the influence Big Dog used to have. Big Dog is still going strong, but they used to be like literally like there could be like a country of Big Dog, the United States of Big Dog. That's probably a shirt, honestly.
I mean, it is very good branding. I will give it that.
Is it though? With the iceberg and the national tragedy.
I legit am going to buy that shirt. Like I'm not even. Kidding.
I think it is a discontinued shirt. They don't. Not all the Big Dog products are currently in stock.
No, you can't say that. Titanic Big Dog shirt.
I found the image on Pinterest. I couldn't find the page anymore. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
If you can't run with the big dog, stay on the porch.
That's a dope shirt, honestly. I've never seen a funnier shirt. I've never seen a better shirt. I don't even know what the shirt looks like, but I can imagine it. I'm imagining dog, arms crossed with sunglasses, and there's like angry font. That's a sick shirt, man. Like I've been looking at it, like the thing is, they're also weirdly categorized. Like, I was looking at the Big Dog shirt humor page last night, because of course I was at 3 a.m. What else are you going to do? And, like, one of the shirts, like, in their humor section was, like, I wake up tired and I'm awake at night. It's, like, that's just, like, the symptom of a depressed adult. That's not, like, humor. That's not funny, Big Dog. That's someone who needs someone to confide in. So, for those who have no idea what's going on, we got technical issues. We got issues with the technology. So what are we gonna do? Because as far as I could tell, we talked about the things we wanted to talk about, and now we're just like in this situation where we have nothing to do. We could talk about Brick Squad.
Brick Squad Monopoly.
Like the board game Monopoly.
Game. Images. There is not.
Beans! We're talking about beans. We're making a bean cast. Gonna be a bean cast. Gonna talk about beans. Cause we're having tech issues. We don't know what to do. We talked about shit. It didn't get recorded. So I'm just saying the word beans over and over again. Beans, 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 bean cast.
The bean kicked in.
Bean kicked in. Oh yeah, shit. Forgot right before the podcast I ate a kidney bean, and now look where we are.
Wait, what?
I ate a kidney bean right before the podcast, and now I'm fucking on high.
I made cupcakes today.
Oh shit. So how did those go, and why?
So I was at Aldi, and they had a kit for cupcakes for $1.87. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna make cupcakes. So I did, and I'd like whip butter, and it was like super good, and then like add like confectioner sugar and like vanilla to it for frosting. Like I did a whole thing. You have any idea how hard it is to frost something?
I would not ever put in that much effort into like I'm such a terrible cook. No.
I made homemade mac and cheese tonight.
As long as you're not making bread. Making bread is like a sign of like something terrible happening in your life. We have this like era. We're actually past it. Like previously in the COVID pandemic, if you've ever heard of it, there was like a bread making phrase. Bread making phase.
It's like ha ha ha. We're learning to make bread, and then it's like shit. Life sucks.
Yeah, but like the wave of bread making was not due to like people wanting to make bread. It was due to a tidal wave of low-key depression
and sadness, and
it's just
realization.
Like maybe this bread will fill the void that
baking
has
is
been
fucking hard though. Like low-key, I'm an alright cook.
I would say I'm a decent following directionser, but like
that's all
I'm just
cooking
way
is.
too lazy. Kinda. If you want to like be a great cook, you just like take ingredients and then mix them together. Like
you can't freestyle, dance all over the food. Like I just follow instructions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not like that meme where the guys like put diamonds all over it with the sunglasses.
That's like
guy.
you. Didn't you make fucking rice and you're like, I'm gonna add these spices, and you're like, oh, this actually sucks. It's just like one spot of spice on one section of rice.
Yeah, pretty. And like it wasn't even that. I was like, oh, Chinese 5-spice mix. It's like that's probably good on rice. It wasn't that good on rice.
No,
just how it is.
And then I made that like Indian rice.
And you said it was too white person spice?
Yeah, so it's like these recipes that are like you get like fucking a life story about these fucking people before they get the recipe. They use like white people amount of spices, so it's like a quarter of a teaspoon of turmeric. It's like, motherfucker, if this was real authentic shit, they'd be putting a cup and a half.
It's like the serving size of a pickle in a pickle jar. It's like 1/3 of a spear, and a spear is already 1/4 of a pickle. So you're like doing like calculus trying to see how many servings of fucking pickle you just had is.
Well, it's like you look at like ramen noodles and it's like serving size 3, and it's like, what?
Serving size 3. Yeah, that's like I've been a ramen connoisseur lately. I've been getting all different types of ramen. There's like the single, well, by that I mean I'm just getting like this one ramen I've had from China, but like one of their flavors, I like looked at it and like the 1 cup of ramen had like 1,400 calories, and I wouldn't actually be able to know if I didn't like do some math, and by math I mean times 3. But it's like that's unnatural for a ramen. Ramen usually like maxes out at like 700, 800, but
I really like that.
I was impressed,
spicy,
honestly.
What's it, Shin ramen or whatever?
Shin bowl?
Yeah, those are pretty fucking good.
Amateur.
They're spicy.
Okay? Fucking amateur.
We're
talking Shizuren.
So there was this like ramen noodles I used to get when I was younger. One of my best friends, he had a Thai girlfriend who would get these Thai ramen, like I guess like it's not ramen, like these Thai noodle things. They were like duck flavored, and they were like clear noodles. Oh, so
shit.
They were so fucking good.
Sounds like there's like this clear like calorie-free noodle that like comes in a water bag. It's weird as fuck.
Water bag? Is it like
literally the bag that the noodles are in is like they're soaked in water. They're like water noodles.
No, this came in like a little thing like the fucking normal ramen ass noodles. Like they're just dry, but they were clear.
We got a ramen normie over here. It happens.
There's the one thing I miss about fucking going to restaurants. Like, are there a shit ton of restaurants that are closing near you?
I'm not like the type to go out or even get takeout during a pandemic. I've been blessed with someone who likes to cook.
I would say
at
least a third of restaurants are closing and not coming back.
The thing is, so I'm like, I fuck with soup. I'm a soup boy. Like if put it on my tombstone, soup boy Sam.
Well, I love ramen. Like,
yeah,
to the extreme.
And that's the one thing that you can't really get to go during a pandemic. Because, like, well, you can, but,
it just
like,
isn't good.
Takeout soup just doesn't work. You got to make that soup yourself.
That's going to be, like, can you make, like, ramen by yourself? Like,
the thing is, I always had the controversial opinion. I don't generally like going out to a ramen restaurant because I find that the 10-cent ramen pack is marginally worse, but like it's not enough of an upgrade to like spend $15 on a ramen versus the 10-cent ramen.
I think the ramen restaurant we went to was really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good, but we should stop making people feel bad that like we're actually friends and we hang out. They don't want to hear that.
I fucking hate you.
Well, I mean, I guess we won't be going to ramen restaurants anymore, so no reason to feel bad because
No.
my co-host actually detests me.
Yeah, you disgust
It's pretty
me.
chill.
You're
I mean, like, what else are you supposed to do? We've been recording for like 3 to 5 hours. I haven't really been keeping track, and all of a sudden the audio dies. It's just we're on edge right now. We're so pissed.
Then I haven't had a single White Claw tonight. I am hopped up on coffee though.
Yeah, we're both doing sober October. After I finally pinned down Dana and told him that he has a problem, and he was crying, and I was beating the shit out of him.
I have like 1.5 White Claws once a week.
I mean, like, you say that now, but you don't even remember when I was beating the ever-living shit out of you at the intervention, because that's how I do my interventions.
Well, maybe you were
I do
the
a
one,
lot of them, and I'm just
maybe you were the
people.
one drunk.
Yeah, it was my intervention. You don't remember it.
I blacked out.
I've been to a lot of interventions, all for me.
From compassion.
And I beat the shit out of Dana.
What is your sweatshirt? It has like eyes on it?
I gotta sound like the biggest fucking like douchebag on the planet, but this is a Fendi sweater. Fendi is a high. It's like, this is a Gucci bag.
I know what Fendi is.
Okay, a lot of people don't. Which I mean, I guess I'm solidifying myself. Oh, you know what Fendi is? I'm impressed, but I'm solidifying myself as a douchebag here. But like, I know, like, honestly, like, most people don't know what it is. The amount of times people have asked me, like, oh, big fan of How I Trained Your Dragon, huh? I'm like, what? And it's like, oh, you have Toothless on your sweater. I'm just like, you know what? This, sir, is a Fendi sweater. This is a genuine
what
Fendi.
Is it?
Get out of my valet spot.
Is it a Halloween Fendi sweater?
No, it's just Fendi, like, their brand is, like, they have a lot of stuff with these eyes. It's like part of their logo, actually. If you search Fendi, like, backpacks, they all have these eyes. It just so happens that it also really looks like the Toothless Dragon.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I hate kids' movies. I hate anything that makes you feel good. It hurts me on the inside. So,
I will say,
heart.
Compared to other kids' movies, How I Trained Your Dragon is legitimately good. There was a time when I was... So, like, I've mentioned being in Micronesia a little bit before. The thing about being in an island nation is that they don't really have internet, so the things you bring, the things you buy over there, like whatever it is, bootleg discs of movies, that's what you're going to watch, because you can't just like go on YouTube. You can't just like
that's all they
even
have.
play like if you can't even download a game, like a 40 gigabyte download. One, you have to like buy satellite cards, so you're not actually going to get like enough money to download the game, because they're by bandwidth and they're also at a timed rate. Like, you buy 2 hours of internet and you buy like max X amount of gigs, and it's slow as shit anyway. But yeah, like I was left to my own devices, left to whatever bootleg movies they had in the bootleg store. I watched a lot of shitty movies. How I Trained Your Dragon is not a shitty movie. I watched it multiple times, in fact.
So is what you're saying, if you brought an SD to a SNES there, you could sell them for $1 million a piece?
No.
Well then.
Yeah, well then. Looks like you think you know your shit about Micronesia, and I'm here to tell you that as resident douchebag, you don't know about Palau. You don't rep Palauan
You said it was
media.
Sick. You said it was sick as shit though.
Yeah, I like Palau.
Palau's pretty cool.
Palau's pretty cool. You're probably not gonna get to go there right now because they're pretty good.
I actually really like that. You're like, Palau's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool, but unfortunately, we're like, I don't really know what these places are going to do, because like Palau has not had a single COVID case, and I don't think they want one. So it might be a bit before people are going to Palau.
Google Palau COVID.
No, I've Googled it many times. Maybe they got their first case in like the last month or so. But like, what are they going to do? Like, they're in the middle of nowhere. They could just say no to people wanting to come in.
Dude,
the whole country only has 20,000 people. Like, imagine like whatever. I'm not going to like dox where you live, but like, imagine whatever suburb of Chicago, like that's more people than the entire country of Palau.
So what you're saying is we could all go take them over if we wanted to?
Yes, but I wouldn't recommend it, because they used to be a U.S. territory, and the U.S. Like they got a lot of stuff over there.
Keyword being used to.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that they wouldn't flinch, like the U.S. wouldn't care if Palau was taken over?
We taking it back.
We taking it back. Oh God.
Yeah,
you might military coup.
You might want to cut that.
I'm not going to cut it. The world needs to know. The world. We're not censoring the military leader Dana here. General Dana coming after those Palauan resources. What, you're gonna go after Nauru too, Vanuatu? You're gonna go to Tuvalu and just say, you know what, those .tv domains, they're good, but I need something better. I need to fucking take the capital of Tonga, Nuku'alofa. Name it Danaville.
Do people live in like Bikini Atoll?
I don't think so, because there was a little bit of a nuke there.
Yeah, they like bomb shit there, right? Just to, like, test nukes.
Yeah, and one of them was not good. The one that like was supposed to be like 1 megaton, and like they're like, oops, all 15 megatons. Kind of like a Captain Crunch.
Didn't that like
box.
completely like fucking ruin the area forever? Isn't it like, doesn't it like have like long like lasting impacts on like the rest of the world? I can't imagine.
It has like long-term impacts on that one area, and like a lot of the nuclear fallout like travel like if you
it's
were
like
out,
water. It's like you shit in water, and like that shit like travels. You know what I mean? Like I imagine it's the same thing.
Yeah, but like your shit in Miami Beach is not gonna like give someone dysentery in the UK.
Well, but if it was 15 megatons of shit, it might.
That might have some other global impacts.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we're getting to the bottom of the barrel here, but like, what do you think is the most? Because like 15 megatons, that's like a measure of force, right? That's like TNT explosion. What's the most like newtons that you think like a violent shit? Do you think it could like injure a person based on the velocity and mass?
We're gonna say speed of a shit. Oh my god, there are so many articles.
See, we're not it's like the South Park joke when he tries to make the biggest shit. It's like many people have asked the question, what is the largest?
So it takes roughly 12 seconds for a full piece of shit to be voided.
That's a very, very long time when I think about it. Like, count to 12.
The model estimated the universal poop time was 5.6 seconds, not 12. So it's somewhere between 5.6 and 12 seconds. So let's say like 9 seconds. What speed would poop coming out of your butt have to be in order to achieve lift?
In order to achieve lift? Like, we're talking like leaving Earth's orbit? Like...
So your shit would have to come out of your ass at the speed of 1/3000th of the speed of light. I
1/3000th of the speed of light is actually pretty fast. I will say that
I looked
much.
up that one Reddit that's like they did the math, and someone actually did the math on like shitting.
Of course they did. We need a physicist on the podcast to confirm. I know we're not normally the type to have guests on the podcast, but when you got a conversation like this, when you got a really big thinking man's topic, that's when you need to get the physicist.
We're gonna have Obama on the cast next week.
I mean, we need to even the playing field with Michelle Obama's podcast. Her first guest was Obama, and like we're on episode. This is the 25th episode. Whatever this episode is, like this is basically like 3 mini episodes put together because we have no idea what we're doing, and we still have tech issues 6 months in. But Obama should be here. It's like honestly, it's our right to have Obama on the podcast.
Well, no, we gotta one up. Like, what's like we gotta have like Jesus on the podcast.
I mean, who's to say we don't have Jesus on every episode of the podcast?
Jesus is with us.
Well, like quite literally, he's just like standing in the back, like slightly off screen, just doesn't say anything.
I'm sorry, but like a comment responding to like the speed of your shit would have to be around 1/3000th speed of light, and someone responds like, "Well, the McRib couldn't have come back at a better time."
Oh my god, this is what I have to deal with. He's telling me funny comments, but at the same time, he's on fucking Reddit while we're trying to record. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
There's
Come
no
on.
news. It's like, what the
Come
fuck?
on.
We want to have like interesting shit, and it's just
I pay you $35 an hour to be on this podcast.
Really?
I've been deposited, direct deposit. Are you not getting it? Did I put the wrong bank account number in?
Motherfucker, I will talk for like 20 hours. Like,
I'm paying you $35 an hour, and all I get is like I'm reading Reddit while I'm recording. Are you fucking serious?
I'm sorry.
Like, are you fucking doing this to me? Are you fucking trying to bankrupt me right now? You think my money is not valuable? Do you think that my time isn't valuable?
I just
because like I'm paying you $35 an hour, but like at the same time, like I'm here. I'm ready to record. I play the game too. Whatever shitty game you pick, like what's some like Titanic game?
Good.
Like you think I care about the Titanic?
I was gonna
like you think that like
say something
like
that was
come on
good
man
for the podcast, you know,
like you think like we're gonna play a spooky game when you give me this game that's like not even fucking like even like it remotely scary.
Man, shut the fuck up! You said you liked this game. You said it was pretty like it was kind of cool.
Yeah, but like I like the game. I valued our friend. At least I thought I valued our friendship. And then like you're coming here and like you're saying like I'm like let's check out this Reddit comment. It's really funny. I'm like we're trying to have like a fucking really good conversation. Like we're talking about like some shit flying out now? Like, what? Come on, what? Like, when we started this podcast, do you really think we'd be talking like shit flying out of our mouths at the speed of light? Like, no. Like, maybe some shit's coming out of your mouth right now at the speed of light. Like, fucking can't stop. Like, you ever heard of logorrhea? We're just talking full-on diarrhea, man.
You said logorrhea, and then you said
logorrhea is an actual thing. That's diarrhea of the mouth. That's when you can't shut the fuck up, dude.
I would be willing to bet if you timed our talking times, you would have like 95%.
Yeah, honestly, like first of all, for all the comments like are like, you know, you ever like go on those like YouTube like drama pages? It's like Are Aaron and John okay? Are I don't know, are Sam Hyde and Lena Dunham okay? I'm gonna guess no on that one, but are Dana and Sam okay? Like, based on that cover, don't worry. Dana could take an emotional beating like a man.
Yeah, I had many years of experience from family and or friends, so
Jesus Christ, that's heavy, man.
I can talk about how Logan Paul did fucking Pokemon card openings on fucking YouTube to like 400,000 viewers, and
it probably made a lot of cards more expensive.
So, for example, I sold roughly $3,800 in cards in January, all original old school stuff. Those same cards today, like if I were to sell them, I would get close to 30 grand for them.
Jesus. Why didn't you do that?
Well, like at the time, they were already like super high up and worth a whole lot. Very, very upset about that.
Then Logan Paul came along.
Well, it was before that. During the COVID, if people don't know, I'm a huge trading card collector, Pokemon and stuff like that. During COVID, everyone got their checks and spent all their money on the old school Pokemon cards. All the Instagram kids went crazy, and all that stuff went up like tenfold. Like, don't fucking smile at me. I'm a huge
I'm not smiling at you. I'm smiling at the fact, like, I guess that makes sense, but really people like were like, oh, we got a government check, let's spend it on Pokemon cards.
Because literally, it's a foolproof investment. It literally is. Pokemon cards go up in price forever. They never will. Pokemon's the number one license in the world. It officially overtook Star Wars in popularity.
I mean, I guess it's the same with like SNES games, even though people don't want to admit it. Like SNES games literally do not go down in price. So if a game is like $5 and then it's $100, it will be $100 forever, with the exception of Earthbound.
Where I disagree is that little kids aren't interested in SNES cartridges. It's only older people. Where Pokemon transcends all barriers that all other hobbies have. Like, only older people play Magic. Only old people do sports cards. Little kids like Pokemon cards. Adults like Pokemon. You know, like people our age like Pokemon and stuff like that. It's one of the only hobbies that hits all age groups and can capitalize on it, you know?
But at the same time, like, who's gonna like let their kid buy a $200 Pokemon card if they're like
it's
adult?
More so they get it from a pack, and it's worth $500. You know, you can buy a $4 pack of Pokemon cards and get like a $500 card.
But also, which, like, I feel like a kid is not gonna understand the value of money and like sell a card for $500. Maybe their parents will. Maybe they're like, oh shit, that's a $500 card.
To go back onto my topic though, Logan Paul did an opening of the original Pokemon set first edition. Paid $210,000 for the box, and he opened it up live on stream. And because of that, cards from that set have gone from like $100 to like $400. Like, some of those first edition Charizards went from like 10 grand to like 30 grand. Like, it's completely obscene.
Now, is that like a good thing or a bad thing? Are you like a holder?
It's good and bad in the sense that now everyone thinks he was also doing this thing where he'd pull like common cards, like, oh, PSA 10, 30 grand, it's worth that. So now people are coming into everyone's store saying like, oh, I have that card, it's worth 30 grand, right? It's like, well, no, you have like, it's like cut in half, it's worth like $1, you know. So it's like that, and he was ruining every card as he was opening the packs. It's like, those packs are old, they're not made like new packs. Like how he's like holding them, like gripping them like super hard with his hands, like pulling them, like literally he's like, oh, PSA 10 is so good, you know, blah blah blah. For those who don't know, PSA is a grading company that grades cards on a scale of 1 to 10. You know, if you get a card that's a 10, it could, you know, 100-fold the worth of the card. But the way he was holding and handling every single card was damaging them immediately. So it was just like super frustrating for anyone that's into collecting, watching him literally ruin the most iconic, like, expensive cards in the hobby.
I mean, I told you about my like extremely good idea about a YouTube channel if I was like, fuck you rich, where I would just like take the rarest things in everyone's hobby and eat them. Like not even if it was like the worst thing for my health, to just like, here's this Black Lotus going in my mouth.
Yeah,
Here's-
like I have actually talked about the same thing with like some people at work, how it would be like, you just like, fuck you, Rich. You like, buy like fucking stadium events for like NES and just like
eat it. It's like I'm like
it.
I'm like, this is painful. I might actually have to go to the hospital, get this game extracted from my stomach. I need to show the world though how a stadium events cart tastes.
Or even just destroying it, I think would be really funny. But yeah, trading cards, man. If you got Pokemon cards, send them to my PO box. I will.
69 Fake Street, Nairobi, Kenya.
I'm gonna make a PO box.
Right next to the Hello Kitty store in Liberia.
I'm gonna have a Patreon and OnlyFans and a PO box, and you can send me your Pokemon cards.
OnlyFans, just like, I'm not gonna go there. Never mind. It was gonna get graphic.
Would you have an OnlyFans for a certain amount of money?
I mean, like, the thing is, all these people who say no, it's the principle. I feel like people don't understand the concept of life-changing money if they actually think that. Like,
No, it's like people are like, "Oh, would you suck a dick for $1 million?" It's like, I don't know anyone that wouldn't. Like, that's $1 million.
and like, even if people say like $1 million, like, you go, what about 999,999? And like the threshold is significantly lower if you just keep lowering it dollar by dollar. But the thing about like an OnlyFans specifically is that like, it, like, would I have to do this for the rest of my life, or would it be like a 2-time thing, and then like,
No,
the
like,
pictures would follow me forever?
Like 4 years, but you would like you'd make like $200,000 a year.
That wouldn't be that. I would like, even if I made $30,000 a year and like went up to $200,000 a year, I don't think that'd be life-changing money. Because the thing is, like, if you calculate it, like, if you make $100,000 a year and you work for 40 years, that's $4 million. So like, you would pretty much need $4 million to, like, yeah, obviously having it upfront is better because then you can like invest it and stuff like that. But like, you pretty much need a way, if you want to live super well, to have like $4 million after a certain amount of time, and then you could retire without having to worry about it. You could probably do it like $3 million, but like, $200,000 is just not significant enough money to do OnlyFans for 4 years. You'd have to talk to me like maybe $1 million.
If I had $200,000, man, I'd buy so much Chipotle.
You'd buy a lot of Chipotle. You'd definitely not want an OnlyFans after that. Let's just say that.
Or maybe there's probably some people that do.
Yeah, there's probably some people who want that chili boy Dana over here. This is the worst conversation of all time. Jesus Christ. Hey guys, so if you liked the episode, make sure to follow Virtual Homework Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and rate it 5 stars if you can.
Or if you hate it, do 5 stars anyway, or I will find you.
If you rate it less than 5 stars, Dan will be bound and gagged on a train track.
Wait, what?